Hello everyone. In that video I'm going to explain you how can you play against a very annoying opening which is Englund's Gambit, and I'm going to show you my way, which is simple, and you can get a clearly better position without any fireworks. So this is just a solid way how you can beat the Englund's Gambit. But before we go into the theory, I just want to remind you that I created a rock-solid complete opening repertoire for white and for black that you can download completely for free from my website rocksolid.matbobila.com. So get it. Of course, Englund's Gambit is also, you will also find lines against the Englund's Gambit there. And yeah, okay. First of all, you need to know what the Englund Gambit is. So Englund Gambit is the opening that starts after d4 and black plays e5. So black sacrifices a pawn, and now, of course, white can take that pawn for free, but then black will get some activity. This is the basic idea of it. You need to know that there is one very similar gambit, very similar to this one. It starts with knight f6, in case white plays c4, then black plays e5, and that it is called the Budapest Gambit, and it is much better than the Englund's Gambit actually. But if you follow my opening repertoire against knight f6, I recommend to play knight f3, and now Budapest Gambit doesn't work, so you don't need to worry about it. You just need to learn how to play correctly against the Englund's Gambit. Okay, so black plays e5. In this position, white captures that pawn. This is the best. If black is giving that pawn for you, take it, and now we will try to develop our pieces. So black's pieces activity is not that black's pieces activity advantage is not that big. Okay, and now you need to know that the most popular move that black plays is knight c6. I will also later show you some sidelines, but first we have to start with knight c6. So black is trying to attack that pawn. The best way that white can play is simply knight f3, protecting that pawn, and usually black plays queen e7. And now this is a critical moment in the Englund's Gambit, because here there are several different ways of playing. Some people, they are playing knight c3. It leads into some complicated variations. You have to learn a lot of theory. There are like plenty of traps. Same story is with bishop f4, that at the first glance bishop f4 looks good because it's protecting the pawn, but queen b4 leads into a lot of complications. And if white knows it really well, it's not a big problem. But you see, usually players who are playing Englunds, they are knowing that better. So you don't want to go into the variations that they are expecting. This is the reason there is a much easier way that you can play. And the move that I'm talking about is queen d5. So you are activating the queen, you are protecting pawn at e5, pawn at the b2 is completely safe, and you can see that it's not so easy to get huge activity by black. Maybe white will not win that game in 15 moves, but as you can see, black cannot get any activity. Okay, and you need to know that usually in this position black is surprised, and this is not the line that black expected by playing that opening, and black usually plays f6. In this case, you can just capture that pawn, knight takes back, and now queen has to retreat. It is possible to go to d2 or to d1, but from my experience, the best place for the queen to move out is b3. And black usually plays d5, trying to take control over the center. And this is next important position, because you can see that white is up a pawn. Black is slightly better developed, but if white will develop pieces, white is going to castle and exchange pieces, because white is up on the material. So in this case, it's a good idea to exchange. White's position will be very good. So white usually plays bishop g5, pinning that knight. Black has to do something, bishop d7. And don't even think about taking pawns like this at b7, because this is exactly what black is trying to do. Black is down on the material, so black is trying to make the position more complicated. Just simply play c3, just a developing move, making position more solid. Black castles queenside, then just simply develop that knight. Black is chasing that bishop. You're up, you can exchange. Okay, queen captures, and now white plays e3, and white is planning to develop that bishop. White is trying to castle. If black has got a very strong attack on the king side, sometimes I can imagine that it is even possible to consider castling queenside. But castling kingside also should be good. And you can see that this is a position without any complications. White is up a pawn. White's position is really good. So this is the main variation that happens. But I also promised you that I will show you some sidelines that black can play right now. There is one very tricky variation that starts with bishop c5. And I have to admit that once I lost the game. It was like a blitz game on chess.com that unfortunately I lost because I fall into the trap. This is why I want to warn you from it. So white usually plays knight f3, and now black plays d6. And now the best move for white to play is to play bishop f4. Bishop is protecting that pawn at the e5. It's protected by the bishop, but also it's protected by the knight. And also, in some variations, white can capture at the d6. One thing that you cannot do, it's pawn takes d6. That move doesn't lose itself, but in case black plays knight e7, if you do not calculate properly, you capture that knight, bishop captures f2, and opponent is removing the defender and you are losing the queen. So king takes f2, queen takes d1, and white loses. This is the trap that you need to be careful about. This is the reason just simply play bishop f4 and white just continue development, and white has got a good position. And there is also one more variation that you need to know. That variation starts with the d6. In this case, also taking at the d6 is not the best move, because if bishop captures d6, black has got a very good development. This is the reason why white's supposed to play knight f3. Black is trying to develop pieces. So bishop is attacking the knight and now wants to take the pawn back or something. But now white has got a very good move, bishop g5. So developing the bishop with the tempo, attacking the queen. Queen has to escape somewhere, and white can simply just develop the knight. Black develops a piece, and now, because white's pieces are also developed, so a good idea might be to capture that pawn. And white plays e3. And this is another position that white is up on the material, and white has got no problems. So this is my way of playing against the Englund's Gambit. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And I just want to remind you that you can get a complete opening repertoire, Rock-Solid Opening Repertoire, completely for free. You can find the link below the video. And if you enjoyed, please thumb up, please comment, please subscribe the channel, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.